You know.
Here we go.
Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Jen LeClaire.
I'm Sam.
I'm Linda Apple.
Yes, and this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. And guess who I saw on Pleasant Street today? Eugenia Gibbons in the flesh, picking up her kids at the Lincoln School. It was great to catch up. Beautiful sunny day. So it was fun.
I too had a Eugenia sighting at pickup. It was glorious.
Right?
Awesome.
It's like a vision.
Day.
It's like a celebrity sighting. It's
yeah. Your whole day.
Oh, shout out now if you're FOMO.
If you're watching Eugenia, hello.
Shout out. So another shout out to one of our top fans. Do we all? Oh,
there he is.
It is the day of Dugan. Happy birthday, mid-century Dugan.
Mid-century Dugan, happy birthday. And so this reminds me, probably you too, of the famous quote by Ogden Nash. Are you guys familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Yes, you are only young once, but you can stay immature indefinitely.
Perfect.
So Matt, embrace that, and happy birthday to you from everyone at the show and in Melrose Nation.
From all of Melrose, exactly.
No, why don't we say Melrose Nation? That has a good
Melrose
ring
Nation
to it. Melrose Worldwide. Worldwide's also another good.
Yeah,
another good handle. So, I think like seeing people in person might be becoming a thing. So there's more people we're in phase 2 or whatever of the vaccine rollout. I know more people are eligible. It seems like almost everybody, and I just keep on my text threads, there's a lot of people securing appointments or having multiple opportunities for appointments. So it seems like the vaccine rollout is happening in earnest.
Foot on the gas. I'm going on Friday for my first.
Nice.
Yay.
Psyched. Yep. Bring it.
I'm totally vaccinated as of last Friday. So
nice.
Yay.
You do everything 100%, Linda. That's the way you roll.
Yeah. That's the way I roll,
Yeah.
So somebody who has wait a minute. I went into the news without doing the news thing.
It's not official.
Wait a minute. Sorry, this is not official yet. I got so caught up in the Dugan celebration that it was hard to sort of come back down.
That is the news for the day.
That is the news.
Exactly.
That is the
news.
Done. So we talked about the vaccine rollouts happening. So sign up. There's CVS. There's the state website. There's a clinic in Malden. There's I think somebody said something about Melrose Wakefield, but it's happening in earnest. 3 million doses a day. I think I heard they're going to ramp it up to 4 million. I think President Biden said something on the news today, moving up his goals by a couple of weeks. So it's happening. Nice. So we hope everybody can get vaccinated and that they can run into Eugenia Gibbons around the streets of Melrose.
Exactly. Safely.
And brighten their own damn days. Yes, we are doing it. Actually, I have that shirt on right now. So that's a good call.
So yes. So the answer is yes.
But somebody who has shepherded this town through the pandemic, Ruth Clay, our health director, is retiring. Now, she had planned to retire, I heard, maybe a year or so ago, but hung in there for the pandemic and has really kind of got us to the point where we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The thing I wonder about this is she's the health director for Melrose and Wakefield. So there was some kind of consortium thing under Rob Dolan's administration. So I don't really know what this means for the future of that role. Maybe nothing significant, but I raised an eyebrow. I'm going to be honest with you. Wondering about that.
It looks
it's
like 2 eyebrows here.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think we'll hopefully be watching for a job opening and we'll be telling the world. But we're very grateful that we had continuity in public service with Ruth sticking around for us. So cheers also to Ruth.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
sticking with
everything.
It. No pun intended. As we all get our vaccines. So our top fan birthday boy, Matt Dugan, said the whole show isn't about me. So in the spirit of that, I'm just going to say yes, it is. And we're going to figure out how we can work him into the rest of these
Every transition.
Well, Dugan likes the call.
News items. Yep.
So talking about booze and
yes,
golf, yeah.
Right. So I'm sure Matt Dugan would love to be able to have a beer on the course after, or something on the course after the back nine. I don't even know. This is sports.
Is this sports ball with Jen
LeClaire? Did they say something about links? I don't know. Anyway, so you right now you cannot. You have to wait till you get back to the clubhouse. But Mayor Broder has just recently filed something with City Council and expressed support for loosening up the liquor laws a little bit to allow for a beverage, not only a beverage cart at Mount Hood, but also it would permit things like sales in the at the farmers market in that park. So there's people who like and don't like these ideas. The Mount Hood Park Association wrote an editorial that not a fan, does not support that. There wasn't a lot of data there, if I can be honest. It was a lot about like the terrible things that might happen. And I go back to, I said the same thing about fire pits that I'm going to say about this. Like, there are rules in place for responsible adulting. You should be able, we should be, Melrose should have faith in responsible adults to be able to have a drink on the golf course.
Melrose is very timid with it's these baby steps.
Very conservative.
So it started out when I read the article a while back was about, serving drinks on the course. So could somebody come around a cart and sell drinks? I think was maybe the thing. And at least I'm supportive of the mayor's initiative to kind of broaden it and just make it available on public lands. There is some pushback. There's some concern. But he pointed out there's a liquor commission, so that doesn't mean tomorrow we're down there boozing in the park as much as we might like to be. Like, you still have to get a liquor license. Like, you can't, it's not complete lawlessness. And the state, so we're within a framework of responsibility.
Agreed. So,
I'm sorry, a framework of compelled responsibility, not necessarily organically.
There is a process, right? It will go through the process, and we'll see what happens. But
yes. So I heard Matt Dugan likes to read.
Oh, he does.
He might. We'd like to provide a book recommendation for birthday boy Matt Dugan. So Melrose author Jane Healy has a new book out called The Secret Stealers. And Dugan, if you like action spy novels, this one is about a female American spy in Nazi-occupied France. That's about all I know about it so far.
Sounds good.
You had me at Melrose author.
And I've read other books by Jane. It was the Boston Girls. Is that? I hope I'm getting that right. But
I have heard of that book because
it's a very good book. Recommend that.
Yes, you're an avid reader. You're in like 11 teen book clubs, right?
Many book clubs. Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool skill.
What's
your pick? Any other? What's hot on the presses these days?
Oh, let's see. We read a really good book that was like one of the top books of 2020 called The Vanishing Half. By Britt Bennett. I would absolutely recommend that. She's not a Melrose author, but it's still a very good book. But Jane Healy's book, the Boston Girls, is very good. So I highly recommend. And support our local authors.
Yes. So back in Ohio in probably the early 80s, I think Matt Dugan went to a prom. And I'm not sure if his date had trouble finding a semi-dress, but
had she been in Melrose, they would have been fine. Now I'm really feeling like I really want to see Dugan's prom picture. But yes, thanks to the MHS Environmental Club, who has partnered with Zero Waste Melrose, there is a prom and semi-dress resale event here in Melrose. You can drop off your gently used prom or semi-dresses, or in our case, last year, we didn't have the prom, so the tags are still on. My kids would have had prom and semi, both of them canceled. So we have dresses with the tags still on that we will drop off to either 31 Gooch Street or 44 Henry Ave. before the 14th. So it's coming right up. And then the resale event is after school in front of Melrose High School on April 14th. So check.
Do you guys have any of your prom dresses still?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
No.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I have my daughters, so we may have to partake in that.
Why do you ask?
Them away.
Because I knew you would say yes.
Of course Jen does.
And if you didn't, you would have recreated it just so you had it.
Right. No, I'm not Molly Ringwald. Jeez.
You're pretty damn close.
Okay. All right. We're about in the point in the show where Dugan probably needs a snack.
Right.
Yes. Definitely give him a snack. So this is the one I could talk to. I feel like I've been watching the shows.
I know. I'm sorry.
No. Thank you. The Melrose Together Spirit Squad has put together a pack a snack effort to help provide food and snack and nourishment for students who are within the Housing Families programs. So if you would mind running to the store and adding some extra snacks to your grocery list, I'll put the event down here, drop them off actually at Linda's house by this Sunday, and then we're going to deliver them to the Housing Families organization, and also shout out to our friends at the Melrose, at the food drive in Melrose, who are providing over 100 apples. We were trying to calculate how many apples we should. She's like, "Oh, that's no problem." So thanks for providing all the fresh fruit. Feel free to add some more. But yes, there's the link. Sign up to pack a snack.
That's so cool. So is this sort of for break? Is this like while
vacation week? Yeah,
during vacation week when there might not be access to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
Right, because there's free free breakfast and lunch at school now. So this is a great way to thank you, Food Drive. Yay.
We should have her on the show.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So speaking of good people we should have on the show, we have a special guest. We haven't even talked about our special guest yet. So we have Rabbi Jessica from Temple Beth Shalom, and I'm going to play the walk-up music while we bring her on the stage.
That was great.
Yay.
Hi.
Hello, Rabbi Jessica.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is great.
So we were just saying, we've been trying to get you on for a very long time.
There was something that happened like around March-ish last year. I don't know.
Yes.
It's so good to see you now.
Good to see you guys too. I'm seeing your show. I don't know. What do you say? Long time watcher, first time guest?
Do you really watch the show?
I've seen a few of them. Whenever Linda's on, the whole synagogue's like,
that's the ticket. Thank you.
I knew there was a rating boost every time she was on. Now I know why.
Yeah. Well, I am the former president of the temple, so I do have a fan base there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you do all over Melrose.
Right. It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so let's not outshine the rabbi, please, on her first appearance on the show, Linda. If you could tone it down a little bit. But,
sorry.
But we talked about having you on the show about a year ago because you were relatively new to the town and to the temple. And so now we get to talk to you a year in, and we understand it's under different circumstances with COVID and all of that. But we're just kind of curious what your experience has been like kind of settling into the community and playing such a prominent role in the community at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I'll start out by saying that, you're right. The second year has been slightly different than I expected. But I think that we did a great job. We all are figuring out how, we figured out this whole year how to get around COVID, how to stay in community, and how to stay together. Because when I first interviewed for the job, I was out of rabbinical school. I was looking around Massachusetts to see, where I would end up. And I knew pretty quickly that Melrose was a very special place. That I grew up in Framingham. I never heard of Melrose. I just never knew about this little in-between area, like above Boston, not quite North Shore. then I came and everybody showed me around and I met the board, I met a bunch of people, and there was really clearly something unique. It's a small community. Everybody is involved. People feel responsible for supporting each other and being there for one another. I've worked in a lot of larger synagogues, and it's very easy to just kind of slip in, slip out. Nobody really has to get to know each other, and nobody has to participate. You can drop your kids off for Hebrew school and then peace out. But it was really different here. Everybody is involved because they have to be. Small. I'm their first full-time rabbi, which was really exciting. So the community is really unusual. And that has continued to be the case, a year and a half in.
Wow, that's I didn't really. So, what's the difference between a full time and a part time? Like, what other responsibilities do you have? Like, do you have office hours, or like, how does that?
Yeah, back in the day when I was in the office. Yeah, I mean, it's I work at least 40 hours a week generally. Yeah. I also oversee the Hebrew school. So the synagogue used to have a rabbi that was really in charge of ritual. Rabbi Fertig was incredible. I'm so thankful. He's a great mentor for me. He really showed me everything. When I first came, thanks, Jamie. Jamie is great. Also, one of our young moms, great kids, really, really great kids. So I really appreciate Rabbi Fertig, but he was mostly in charge of ritual. They had someone else in charge of the Hebrew school. So now I just oversee everything, and it's really nice because I get to know people in different capacities. We have a lot of chats now that it's warm enough out. We can stand outside for Hebrew school drop off and pick up. I get to see people in person, even if we are, masked and kind of separated, but it's been wonderful.
So the temple has always been like a beacon, like a major player in this community for Christmas dinner and on the MLK Day, like all of the card making, and even after Santa comes down, everyone runs to the temple for
the Latke night.
Latke
fest. Yes.
So for those who don't know much about the Hebrews, the Jewish side of what happens there, we're just wrapping up Passover. And so do you want to talk a little bit about what it is, how it was different for you this year?
Yeah. Great. Okay. So I'll talk about what Passover is.
Happy to do a recap. The Ten Commandments is one of my favorite movies of all time. I do have a thing for Will Brenner. I'm not going to put that out there.
Yes, I will say, if you see the Ten Commandments and then you also see the Prince of Egypt, the animated movie, you pretty much got it. I mean, but no,
that's about 6 hours of viewing, though, isn't it?
Quality viewing, though. Quality. It's very worth it. No, so Passover is a celebration of back in the day, a few thousand years ago. The Jewish community was enslaved in Egypt because they were a small minority community within a larger nation, and they were seen as outsiders and a potential threat. So in case that doesn't strike any bells, it's a really relevant story. It plays out all the time throughout all of our history. So it's one of the reasons I think Passover continues to be one of the most celebrated holidays. I think around over 75% of Jews in America celebrate Passover. Just to let you know, maybe 20% belong to a synagogue. So that gives you a sense of, where people spend their time. And so we normally conduct the Passover Seder. Seder just means order. And the Seder was created in the Middle Ages sometime, probably around the year 600. And we go through a bunch of different rituals to do our best in a clearly not perfect way, to try and feel as if we ourselves were slaves in Egypt. That's one of the lines in the Haggadah. It says that you can't just read this, you can't just go through the motions. The point of this holiday is to increase empathy and to, look in our history, look at our past, really feel the experience, and then to look outwards. So many times organizations will have like Passover Haggadah inserts with whatever mission that they're in charge of. So you can find a insert that talks about hunger and homelessness, on immigration, on asylum seeking. All of these themes really just are blended perfectly into what Passover is all about.
Tom, have you been to a Seder before?
I have. So I don't know if I know the names of the ceremony. So I lived in a group home. I lived in a home with a number of roommates, and two of them were Jewish, and we sat down and did, maybe it was a Seder. I don't remember what time of year, but it was pretty cool. I've got to say, there was, certain readings in the story, in the history, and it was just a really kind of a cool thing to be a part of and to learn about and to see them, my friends, as young adults. We're like early 20s, sort of embracing this tradition and kind of taking it seriously. It was cool on like a number of fronts. So, I guess I've had that experience, but I'm trying to remember, and I haven't seen the movie in like 30 years or 40 years, but who is passing over what? Is it the Holy Spirit, or we're passing by certain houses? What is the actual, who's passing what over?
Great. So it's the angel of death. Passed over the houses when the 10th plague was,
and they were marked with blood, sheep's blood or something. Was that it?
Blood,
and that's how they knew lamb's blood. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
Lamb's blood. Yeah.
Yes. And so on the Passover Seder plate, you have a bunch of symbolic foods, and a lamb shank is one of those foods to remind us of that sacrifice and that experience. Finding a lamb shank can be very tricky. You have to go to the butcher section of your grocery store, and they will give you a weird look, like, why do you have this? And then they give it for free. It's very nice.
So interesting.
But Tom, if we're in person next year, you are definitely invited to our Seder table.
Welcome. Yes.
I would say that the temple. Yeah, thank you. The temple. Can I be Tom's plus one?
Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone is welcome.
Something to say about that.
If Stephanie is busy, just for show research purposes. No, but I wanted to say I haven't been to any of the official ceremonies at the temple, but kind of similar to what Sam was saying earlier, it's such a beacon to this community, and there's so many other community events that I have been to there. Some of the ones that Sam mentioned, also the Maeve Coffee House. Yeah. Gosh, yeah, you said the MLK Day.
There was a DEI event. In there
about a year ago. Anti-racism event. Yeah, exactly. So it's just, for me to not be of the faith, I've always felt welcome there. There's always been just really welcoming, accessible kind of community events there. So the way you described it as kind of a beacon for the community and being really accessible and welcoming, I really appreciate that. And plus the 80s, we have to talk about the 80s party that you haven't even been able to go to yet.
No, I'm so sad.
It's the hottest party in Melrose. It's so much fun. Stephanie says, yes, Tom should bring his wife. Yes.
I'll bring Tom's wife.
Everybody's invited.
The 80s party
the only thing is now I have to Google what a shank is.
No.
Shank bone.
I'm sure they'll come up on the other thing.
The 80s party fundraiser every year for the temple is one of the most fun parties in Melrose. It's so much fun.
Absolutely.
The fun. Yes. I would say the best night
funnest,
in Melrose.
The funnest.
By far.
I've only seen the pictures, but I've never seen so many wigs and leather pants in one place. It was really impressive. You guys are very dedicated. Melrose is serious about
it's a live band, right? Doesn't Scattershot play that, or they played it in the past, or what is it? It's a live band. It's embracing the 80s. And how many people dress as Molly Ringwald for this event?
Not many. There's a lot of hair bands. A lot of hair bands.
Yeah.
In fairness, it's tough to pull off. It'd probably easier to go Madonna, maybe.
There's some Madonna, some Prince.
Madonna.
One year there was Adam Ant. Nice. I remember that was really good.
Yeah. Devo, right? Some
Devo.
We give out the Robert Palmer girls, the backup, singers.
That was good.
Those are great. So we give out awards, but unfortunately we can't do that this year. So we're doing a trivia night instead. on Zoom, which is, not as, it's still fun, but it's going to be great.
Boy, what a sales pitch. People are dialing in right now.
Zoom.
Hey, I think our producer somebody was going to give us some 80s trivia to see.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Oh, the only comment it says is Dugan as Molly Ringwald. That's the only comment I have so far. The production team's asleep at the switch back there.
He's busy laughing at the shank.
So we'll put the link if you want to join us on Zoom for the 80s trivia night. We can put the link in the chat. That's it's a really fun night.
Trivia is
but
hard.
Can I go back to one quick thing that I really wanted to ask Rabbi Jessica? Because Jen, you were talking about feeling so welcome at the temple, and we do have a lot of interfaith families in our temple. And I think that's, for me, I'm an interfaith marriage, and it's for me and my family, it's been a wonderful, amazing experience. And I know that you just received this very prestigious fellowship. Can you talk about that for just a minute and tell us about that? Because is it for interfaith couples?
Yes.
Or
great. Yes, absolutely. So yes, I am a Rukin Rabbinic Fellow with 18 Doors, which was formerly interfaith families. And their whole purpose is to provide a place for interfaith Jewish couples or whatever multicultural couple, terminology is not perfect. But for people who are Jewish and Jewish adjacent, to find their way through these holidays and to find a place that is incredibly open and non-judgmental, because the majority of Jewish couples are indeed interfaith. Aside, if you count out the Orthodox community, I think about 73% of Jews marry someone who is not born Jewish. So that's a lot of people, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's really important that we embrace the reality that more people is better. It's good. It's important because Judaism does not have to be this like isolated, sectioned off community where you have to follow things in a certain way. America is not like that, and Judaism in America has never actually been like that. Judaism in America has a long history of really bucking all the trends of tradition from Europe and from other areas. And embracing the multicultural reality of America. So, it's one of my passions. I love working with couples. They actually have to think about religion at the beginning, whereas when I talk to Jewish couples, they just didn't talk about it. They were like, whatever, we're both Jewish. I guess we'll figure stuff out later. Yeah. But nobody is the same. Like, no two people are exactly the same. You have to talk about what do you actually believe in? Like, what do you want? What does your Judaism look like? And what are your expectations? And I just love working with couples who start talking about it early on and actually have to form their opinions. And they're really special, wonderful conversations. And it's such an honor to work with people.
And learn how to talk about it, right? Like, learn how to talk about some big things. What does 18 doors mean? What is that? What is 18 doors?
So 18 is the number for Chai. It's 2 letters in the Hebrew alphabet that, when you put them together, mean life. And then numerically, they mean 18. All letters are also numbers in Judaism. And then they picked the door symbol to show that there are just many different ways to step into a Jewish community, right? Some people come through a ritual lens. Some people are coming through a social justice lens. Some people are coming through like a food heritage lens. All of those doors open up, and none of them are closed. None of them are locked. So that's, I think, where they came from.
I'd like to come through the food.
Thank you. The food door.
The food door.
It's a good
ask
door.
what's on the menu first. You might not like everything.
I'm knocking on the food door. Yeah,
As a gefilte fish lover,
that's true.
Yes, it's so funny. I think I've been through a number of those doors in my life without Seriously though, without
right.
thinking about it, like
right,
so I'm
right.
realizing it. Yeah.
I'm now thinking of the the kids I live with and the people of Jewish faith or heritage that I've known over the years, and how many things I've been involved in, like certainly by mitzvahs and sort of ceremonies, but just in a number of different ways. And I'm not sure. So I was raised Catholic. I'm not sure I could say I've had a lot of Jewish friends to mass or whatever. So it's really interesting, and it's so it's just interesting how sort of, I hadn't thought of it, but how sort of open and fluid, and there's something happening there from an outsider's perspective, but it's been true. Like I used to live in Washington, DC or up here, that there's like this celebration and honor of tradition, but also sort of like this self-awareness and like willingness to educate. And like I was always just totally like welcome and patiently sort of guide. Like I never for a second felt, whereas like in my own faith of Catholicism, I'm not sure that's always been true. There's a lot of like rules and you got to do this and don't do that, and I'm like, it's very intimidating to go to to go to mass, and I almost felt like it was a little easier to go to temple sometimes.
So you actually just jarred my memory, Tom. I am Jewish, and although it is seemingly extremely welcoming in the United States, I was in London for Yom Kippur, and in entering the temple, there were guards, police officers with rifles guarding the temple during this high holy time. And it was very jarring and very shocking, and it grounded me on actually, reminding myself of how much we are open in this country. Even though, recent past few years, we've had some severe anti-Semitic hate crime, mass murder. But Rabbi, if you could speak a little bit more to the work, there's a social justice committee that I think I've read about. If you could speak more to their work and what they're doing, and how we can get involved.
I will just say, we do have a police presence, especially around the high holidays when we're in person, because the reality is there is a lot of hatred in this world, and people tend to aim it in certain directions. So I always thank the police department here in Melrose for being really thoughtful and really aware of us and our needs. But one of the things that I love the most is that no matter what's going on, like towards the Jewish community, one of our goals is to be outward facing. And to make sure that we're bringing our Jewish values into the wider world. I always tell people, Judaism doesn't live in the synagogue. Judaism is what you do every day of your life, every moment of your life. It's the decisions that you make. It's letting your values kind of lead who you are and how you interact. So we have a really robust social action committee. And then, so that's doing things like the MLK volunteering and organizing, doing book reads around certain topics. And then this past summer, we started an anti-racism task force as well. So we just had a few speakers talking about inclusion, Jews of color, the new language around the LGBTQ community, and just really saying that like the way we interact with people is a reflection of who we are, of what we want to be, and who Judaism tells us that we have to be, that we have to do better and try and continue to make sure that we're welcoming and in loving all people, no matter where they are, or how they present themselves. If you truly believe that every single person was created in the divine image, then that's it. I mean, there's no qualifications to that. There's no kind of sidelining it.
Well said.
So when are your office hours again?
I know.
Well, I feel like
one day I'll be back in Starbucks. One day. But no, really, I'll say to anybody who's out there, my door is always open. I'm happy to talk. If you're interested in Judaism, if you're not interested in Judaism and just want to chat, I'm around. I don't have that much to do, so please reach out.
Yes, very, very well spoken and inspiring.
Thank you so much.
So
we're very lucky to have her. Very lucky to have you.
That's what I keep hearing everywhere. Yeah.
We did get a submission of trivia. I think this is what this is. 4 LTMM hosts and a rabbi walk onto a golf course. Is this a riddle? Actually, I think Paul would let
Paul would let us have a
drink.
drink.
He would let us have a drink. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say false. I'm going to say the answer is false to that one.
False.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm sorry, Jen, did you have another?
I was just going to say the same thank you. And would you like to wish our top fan Matt Dugan a happy birthday?
Gosh, I'm so sorry, Matt. Of course. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
We need to get you a mug. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you
for having me.
All right, so we're gonna dance it off now, and so thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you around town.
See you around town.